Previously on Brofessor of the Month.
Most of you may not know Christopher Walker, and he mainly focuses on natural remedies to boost testosterone in men.
Whole eggs, specifically egg yolks, are one of the most nutrient-dense food sources that we actually have in our society today.
So yes, it is true, eggs have a host of nutrients, but they also have a load of proven disease-inducing byproducts like dietary cholesterol and saturated fat, because all of these nutrients raise LDL cholesterol.
Eggs have been shown in a lot of different cases to help raise LDL cholesterol, which is the lipoprotein that transports excess cholesterol in the body back to the liver to be excreted by the body.
But he provides no reference to his claim, so I'm going to assume he popped this number straight out of his ass.
Alrighty then.
We've evolved as rapidly as we have and have been given the ability to eat these animals for a reason.
Wow, we've been given the ability to eat these animals for a reason? Explain to me why saturated fat, trans fat, and dietary cholesterol are so disease-inducing to humans. So therefore, killing and eating animals in today's day and age would be needlessly killing animals for unsubstantiated reasons he calls beliefs. Sounds like he's turning this into a religion or a cult of stupidity, but let's not go that far and just give the guy his damn award already.
Not just yet.
This guy deserves a second video due to just the amount of crap that spews out of this dude's mouth.
And now, the continuation of the Brofessor of the Month award ceremony for Christopher Walker. Please hold your applause till after the presentation. Fuck! Thank you.
Since Christopher Walker has made a name for himself as the guy who's known for boosting testosterone with natural remedies and whatnot, you would think the guy would shed some insightful knowledge in regards to the actual subject itself. But if you thought that was the case, then you would unfortunately be incorrect. Let's watch Christopher give testosterone boosting advice to people who follow a vegan or vegetarian diet. This is why I had to make a part 2 of this series for the Professor. Enjoy.
I want to talk about fats and fiber. Now, a lot of people think that just eating a plant-based diet in and of itself is going to be healthy. There are actually there's research showing that specifically things like a very high fiber diet is going to be bad for testosterone production. So you want to make sure that if you're a vegan and you're consuming a lot of plant-based foods, that you don't necessarily want to focus on super high fiber foods.
I have to stop him right there because this one right here really is a prime perfect example to always do your research and be on the lookout for professors like Christopher Walker. They disguise themselves pretty good, but here's one, Christopher Walker. Anyways, so Christopher flashed a study on the screen claiming a high fiber diet will be bad for testosterone production. Here's the full text of the study. This study evaluated 43 men who were put on 2 separate 10-week controlled feeding schedules. One controlled feeding schedule was considered a high-fat, low-fiber diet for 10 weeks. The other controlled feeding schedule was a low-fat, high-fiber diet for 10 weeks. Blood plasma and urine specimens were evaluated, and if you look at the differences between the plasma readings, you'll see a drop in total testosterone in the participants when they were on the low-fat, high-fiber diet compared to that of the high-fat, low fiber diet from 13.3 nanomoles per liter to 11.8 nanomoles per liter. If you know anything about testosterone, as the Professor should know since he's based pretty much a whole business around this concept and a whole YouTube channel about raising testosterone levels, then you would know that what matters the most in a testosterone blood test is the free testosterone concentration reading. And this isn't to say that total testosterone shouldn't be accounted for or it doesn't mean anything, because it does. I'm just saying that when it comes to free testosterone levels, that's probably the most important because we're looking at the most bioavailable type of testosterone. I'll explain here in a sec. There are 3 types of testosterone. There's free testosterone, albumin-bound testosterone, and SHBG-bound testosterone. Free testosterone is free-flowing testosterone that flows throughout the body and is biologically available for muscles and tissue to use without much of an issue. Then there are testosterones that are attached to proteins, one of the 2 being albumin-bound testosterone. This testosterone is potentially available to be used for biologic activity in the human body, kind of like free testosterone, but not as bioavailable because the testosterone is attached to this protein, making it less bioavailable. Lastly, there is testosterone that is attached to a protein called sex hormone binding globulin, known as SHBG. Testosterone that is attached to the SHBG protein is biologically unavailable for use in the human body. So it doesn't do anything in regards to increasing lean muscle mass or any other benefits that are compared to that of free testosterone or even albumin-bound testosterone. Let's break this down Brofessor style. Free testosterone equals best type of testosterone, which equals great gains, potentially. Albumin-bound testosterone equals good testosterone, which equals some gains, potentially. SHBG-bound testosterone equals no testosterone, which equals no gains, potentially. So free testosterone is the most important in like regards to making lean mass gains and things of that nature, since bounded testosterone like SHBG testosterone is biologically unavailable. So let's look at the testosterone blood markers again for the participants of this study. As you can see here, the SHBG testosterone was actually higher when the participants completed the high-fat, low-fiber diet and were lower when they completed the low-fat, high-fiber diet, which was why the participants' testosterone levels rose. It was because the rise in SHBG testosterone levels, the type of testosterone that is biologically unavailable. Additionally, the participants' free testosterone was actually higher in the low-fat, high-fiber diet compared to that of the high-fat, low-fiber diet. So if we go off the basis of this one study, we can conclude that a high-fat, low-fiber diet actually lowers free testosterone and raises SHBG-bound testosterone. The only thing this high-fat, low-fiber diet did was primarily raise SHBG levels significantly, and this is clearly stated in the results section of this study. So here is the big question. Did Christopher Walker know this, or did he not know this, or did he blatantly misrepresent this study to promote a higher fat diet? He is a professor after all, but he knows about this SHBG bounded testosterone dilemma because in the same video he talks about SHBG bound testosterone.
So fiber tends to elevate what's known as sex hormone binding globulin with SHBG. Therefore, it reduces the bioavailability of testosterone. That's basically the testosterone that's available for use in your body.
So he understands, which leads me to assume that he is deliberately misrepresenting the study he showed here, or he simply did not read the whole study, as it clearly states multiple times that SHBG bound testosterone was significantly increased on the high-fat, low-fiber diet and actually had a negative effect on free testosterone, or a minor negative effect, which would increase total testosterone levels nonetheless. So his claim stating high fiber diets reduce testosterone isn't telling the whole side of the story. Christopher Walker also showed this study to back up his claim that high fiber foods decrease testosterone levels, which again is misquoted. The study only showed an increase in concentration plasma SHBG levels and not a decrease in free testosterone. And if you look a little closer at the abstract, or at least just read it, you'll see that this is conducted on women and a group of chimpanzees. I don't even know what to say here. I thought when you want to raise testosterone, you'd want to do it in men. So therefore you would have studies in regards to men having their testosterone levels being risen naturally. But now we're concerned with women and chimpanzees' testosterone levels. I guess we can let's just leave that. Let's move forward.
But also in terms of fat intake, this is probably one of the biggest mistakes that I see vegetarians and vegans make. in terms of their hormonal health is that they consume typically very high polyunsaturated fat diet. And in general, it doesn't matter if you eat meat or not, if you're consuming a lot of polyunsaturated fats, you're going to have problems with your hormone production, specifically with androgen production. So keep the PUFAs on the low side and focus more on saturated fat, which is something you can get from plant sources, especially something like coconut oil is a very good source of that, which is very easy to get and you can cook with it and whatever. But then also monounsaturated fats like olive oil and or olives and avocados. So if you focus on, and these are just the same principles really as anyone who would eat meat. In terms of your fat intake, focus on saturated fat and monounsaturated fat, and keep your polyunsaturated fat to a minimum.
Here we go again with this crap. Before we unravel, or before I get into this intake debacle between polyunsaturated fats and saturated fat, let me just say that Christopher did get one thing right at least, and that's that eating vegan donuts and processed oils are bad for you. Good job, dude. Also, consuming too many polyunsaturated fats that are high in omega-6s and not enough omega-3s can inhibit the ALA omega-3 conversion rates of the long-chain EPA and DHA fatty acids. EPA and DHA are the fatty acids that are promoted in fish oil pills and microalgae pills, but they are not necessary to consume because you can endogenously create these long-chain fatty acids by keeping your omega-6 to omega-3 consumption ratio to at least about 4:1. But if you're really hardcore, keep it closer to 1:1 if you want to be a DHA and EPA converting savage. All this means is to eat a good chunk of your fats from sources like flax seeds and chia seeds, and don't go too crazy on the different types of nuts and nut butters that happen to be high on the omega-6 fatty acids, as omega-6 fatty acids are very pro-inflammatory if you consume too much of them. Now, as far as polyunsaturated fats lowering testosterone levels, well, I haven't come across any evidence or proof that says that other than Christopher simply claiming that, so it means nothing. Now, he says to eat saturated fat because it magically heightens testosterone levels, but again, being the bona fide professor he provides no legitimate reference to back this claim up. As we already know, saturated fat and dietary cholesterol raises serum LDL cholesterol. Higher LDL cholesterol means more progressive atherosclerosis. More atherosclerosis equals more heart disease, more strokes, and more limp dicks, since Christopher Walker likes to talk about growing huge balls. As you can see right there, that was not... I don't know. Don't come at me. I didn't watch the video because I'm afraid it's going to open up a can of worms and it's going to force me to debunk it if there's any misinformation in there. So let's just assume that Christopher Walker has small balls and perhaps has found the solution to remedy this issue and make them grow. It's a joke, people. I'm just kidding. I'm sure Kinobody can refute that without a problem every single night, though. Hey! So the rest of the video, he gives some obvious advice in regards to restricting certain oils. He also recommends eliminating every single nut with the exception of Brazil nuts and macadamia nuts for some odd reason. He also claims to avoid flaxseed, which I'm guessing he's saying this on the false and unsubstantiated premise that polyunsaturated fats lower testosterone, even though flaxseed have a 1:4 omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, making it an anti-inflammatory food. But he specifically says flaxseed lowers testosterone levels in men according to this study here.
Now here's a study right here that showed that flaxseed supplementation results in decreased testosterone levels in men.
This right here is straight up bullshit, as this right here was a study that was conducted on a sample size of 161 men that were suffering from prostate cancer that were 21 days out from surgery. The majority of the men were overweight and obese and were sick with cardiovascular disease and diabetes, and they were all, some of them at least, were on medication. Additionally, the flaxseed supplementation group and the other three groups, to include the control group, all had a drop in testosterone levels, and the control group had the most significant decrease in testosterone levels. So what the fuck, dude? On top of that, why the hell did their testosterone levels drop? Fuck if I know. Maybe because they were all sick? Who knows? So he straight up lied here, or he cherry picked some random study that has nothing to do with flaxseed lowering testosterone levels and then claims it does, because maybe he's got some bias or some fucking hate towards flaxseeds. Dude, you would have to talk to him on that one. I seriously don't understand why he said that. Whatever. Well, I guess it's about time. Everybody, a round of applause, please. So let's end it on this. I don't think Christopher Walker is necessarily a bad dude. I just think he's an uneducated dude that misrepresents data and gives straight up false information. I think he's questioned veganism before, but I don't think he's really talked about it in depth and actually looked at the evidence that proves it is not necessary to consume animal flesh and their secretions to survive or even optimize yourself from a hormonal perspective. Vegans on average have higher testosterone levels than meat eaters, so what exactly is the problem here? Is eating dead animals and their secretions plus a workout plan that is coupled with supplements the most optimal way to live? It doesn't seem it is. So my question to Christopher Walker and anyone else who is watching this video is, why are you still consuming dead animals and their secretions by paying someone else to murder and exploit these innocent animals? You may be thinking it's a personal choice, and you're right, it is. But that sentence in itself is missing some detail. It's an immoral personal choice if you understand that animal product consumption is unnecessary and cruel. And that's just something that you're just gonna have to come to terms with and stop bullshitting yourself just because everyone else is okay with it. Look at the science. Look at what it's doing to your body, look at what it's doing to the animals, and look what it's doing to the planet. Just be honest with yourself and stop grabbing the first excuse that is going to support your ego or lack of education in the subject, and make a difference because you can do so 3 times a day. All references and links will be in the description box down below. If you have any questions at all, you know I'm always here to help. Make sure to leave a comment in the comment sections down below and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. I appreciate every single one of you. That being said, if you could please do your boy a favor, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe so I can keep you updated on the weekly. I'm the Natural Hulk, so I want to thank you for watching. And please, stay tuned for the next one.